Do it one more
Well,
time. Undo
turn it
record.
on. Take
There we
two.
go. 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Ben Lawrence.
Paul Goody,
Hey, now it's working.
how
So,
you
uh,
doing?
I'm doing all right. So, again, I'm wearing the white headphones this time. Not as much lag. I'm feeling.
Do you think it's the Bluetooth headphones that creates all the
I
lag?
think it is. Yeah, I think it is.
It's possible. It's
Um,
got further to
I,
travel, I suppose. The white headphones, they actually sound better than your Bluetooth like 3M cans.
yeah. So I don't know. I may have to go in for a pair of over-the-ear headphones that are better, that sound better, just for your personal comfort, Ben. I know that I am recording a separate audio track. Oh, a little peek behind the curtain. Separate
Yeah.
audio track
Well, that's
that
not. I mean, so that I mean, it's not just for me. It's for the people who tune into the live stream. They get to hear the nice audio as opposed to the people who only tune in for the podcast.
true,
The nice
true.
audio
And
that they hear.
do I spy a haircut, Ben? Did you get a
Why,
haircut recently?
indeed, I did get a haircut recently. I had a
Oh,
show that I was hosting, so I thought I'd look presentable. It was also pointed out that I was looking a little Joe Namath like with my sideburns because I don't know if you remember this, Paul, when we recorded the panel jumper video with you. That was before I had my haircut, and if I stretched my sideburns out, they would go out to about here. It
wow, that's
was
crazy.
it's pretty ridiculous. But I am not the only one who who has less hair these days. Paul Goody, what's going
Oh,
on?
well, did I mention your physical appearance so that you would then remark on mine and I could talk about my stuff?
I can't help but
Maybe.
notice that that's where you were going.
So yeah, I shaved the beard off, and this is all because of our friend Stephen McCandless, friend of the show. He was kind enough to buy me a whole bunch of N95 respirators, which were delivered to my house by FedEx, no less. Thank you very much, Stephen. And in order for them to work, I did my research. You really can't have any hair around the seal.
Yeah,
So I
doesn't
I
stop
was
other people
trying.
with beards though.
What's that? Oh
It
no,
doesn't. Yeah,
yeah. It's but me personally, I was like, well, if I had bought them myself, I might not have done it. But I was like, Steven went through the trouble to get me these things, and if I use them in a way where they don't work, I'm that's a slap in the face to the safety that he's providing me. So I shaved my beard off, and instantly hated it. Couldn't stand it. Was like, no, what did I do? Um, and then I hit upon something that allowed me to make the graceful transition back to this being me,
what's
which
that?
was halfling or gnome. I went to TikTok and I was like, okay, look at my face. Halfling or gnome? Am I more of a halfling or a gnome? Everybody said halfling, and I threw myself into a Lord of the Rings thing, and I bought like a puffy shirt and a vest and some brown shorts, and walked around like a hobbit for a while. And eventually, now I have once again become myself, as close as to myself as possible. But I had to have that transition phase, and now I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little bit of a top knot that I'm wearing,
Yeah.
uh, like the Kender from Dragonlance, which I have discovered are the most hated of the D&D character races.
Well, it's a good thing that you're mimicking them then.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, Ben, this was around the time when I was also reading the Stainless Steel Rat novels. The Stainless Steel Rat novels by Harry Harrison, very similar to the Saint novels in a way. A gentleman thief, if you will. They took place in science fiction times, but still, between the Kender, who are kleptomaniacs, Stainless Steel Rat, who is a thief, I was like, through books, Ben, just through books, I learned that stealing is fine. Stealing is fine. There's no reason for you to worry about it. And so I started stealing
If it
as a
comes in a
kid.
book, it must be true.
Exactly. I was like, I see no, you know, no problem with your arguments that you're making, you books. Property isn't real. Nobody owns anything. It's all just stuff in the world. And then I got arrested uh, at the age of, I believe, 15 or 16. I don't remember exactly. And we've talked about this. The building where I was arrested is now owned by someone else.
Yeah.
It's a different company.
There's
So,
probably no longer a picture of Paul Goody in the
right.
manager's office.
But that was the thing, is they told me I was banned from going to that store. Am I still banned from the store?
Well, were
It's
they?
been
Was it? Were you?
30, 35 years
Yeah.
or
Were you
whatever.
banned? Were you banned for life, or banned
You
until
know,
we say so?
and I don't know. I'm unsure about that. But I did get probation, and I served my time, Ben. And I really stopped stealing after that. It was like, well, I tried and I lost. I had a hard time realizing it was wrong, though, until I met some people who owned businesses and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a problem.
I
I can understand it.
I vaguely remember as a kid stealing a pack of bubble gum, and when I think I was young enough that I was riding on the lower portion of a shopping cart, you
Hmm.
know? So I can't remember how old I was, probably like 5, 6, 4, 5, or 6. And that's what I loved doing. When we went shopping, I loved riding in that lower basket. It's not really a basket, it's just a shelf, and the
Yeah,
basket's above
exactly. I
you.
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
And we're going through the checkout line at the grocery store, and I'm still there while like my mom, I think it was my dad actually. My dad's unloading groceries, and there's a rack of candy and bubble gum just to my left or to my right. It's right next to me.
Hmm.
And I remember reaching over, grabbing a pack of bubble gum, and like not thinking like I'm stealing, I'm being bad, or I'm giving it to the man. My thought process was I like bubblegum. There's bubblegum. I'm gonna take bubblegum.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got to the car, my dad noticed that I had a brand new pack. I was like unwrapping a pack of bubblegum in the car. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Where did you get that?" He's like, "Well, I grabbed it in the checkout aisle." And so I don't remember getting a talking to. I don't remember being told that don't do that. I'm sure he did, but I do remember him taking it from me. I'm in the car. He went back into the store, paid for the
And then
gum.
he paid for it and gave it back to you.
Yeah, he paid for it and then came back and gave it back to me. And you know what? At the time, this pack of gum probably cost like 15 cents. I'm sure
Hmm.
that my dad, like his first thought was, whatever, just let him keep it. But this is a teaching moment.
Yep.
This is a moment where, I got to tell my kid that this isn't right. And there's one way to correct this, and it's to go back in and pay for it.
Well, and the thing is that sometimes people will go back in and return it and not pay for it.
I think the reason I got it back is because I'd already like unwrapped it and maybe put a piece in my mouth.
Or returned it, and then not given it to you. Like, it bought it, maybe he paid for it, didn't
Yeah.
give it to you though. You don't get it anymore.
That was another
Um,
tack a parent could have played, but no, I remember getting it back.
Here's the thing: I never stole anything when I was a younger kid. It wasn't until I was older, and I think that's what the thing was, is that I was actually good enough that my parents didn't notice that I was doing it. And that was the thing. And this actually is a segue into something that I've been talking about a little bit, and I'd like to do this thought experiment with you, Ben.
Okay.
So on TikTok, there are lots of people who post things like this. Would you eat this bacon for $500,000 if it was made from this adorable pig? And then they show you a cute picture of a pig, and people invariably will write, I would name that pig and play with it every day, and then choke it with my bare hands for $500,000. There's another thing where guys who look tough, big tough guys, are like, would you punch me in the face for $10 million? And people would say like, yeah, I think the hospital bills will be less. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to sue me for that much, all these kind of things. And then there was one guy who did would you snitch on me for $100,000? And somebody wrote, I wouldn't just snitch on you. I'd make up stuff that you said, that kind of thing. So I felt really bad about it. I'm like, okay, all right. Everyone that I follow are secretly horrible people that will do anything for money. And I was like, but
Don't
really,
get this trend, man.
What is money? Right?
It's a construct.
We've talked about this before, right?
It's a method with which to trade goods or services.
When you go to work and you get money, and then you go to the store and you buy a PlayStation 5, if the store has a PlayStation 5, let's say it does.
Flashback to 3 months ago or whatever.
Yeah, there's a PlayStation 5 there. You give them the money and you take the PlayStation 5, and now you have it. That PlayStation 5 was there before you did the work where you got the money to get it. And that guy was still there and you were still there. The difference between it's money is basically proof that you are a good person, sort of.
Well,
that you have done enough things. Well, no. I mean on the concept of it, right? The idea behind it is I have done enough things that I have a right.
It's proof that you've earned it if you got that from your job.
And if it were absolutely equitable, like if everybody made what they were actually worth and all that kind of, this would make sense. But of course, because capital is sort of removed from the actual worth of people these days, right? Somebody can have all the money and someone else can have no money, and they can get, like, I was thinking about this before. There's tons of firewood, right, up in front of the grocery store. Do you have that? There's a grocery store, a big pile of firewood.
It's more of not so much here in the city, but that's more of a suburban thing.
I figured out that one person with enough money could go in and just buy all that firewood. Now they have all the firewood. And, the toilet paper during the pandemic, people bought all the toilet paper, and then there was no more toilet paper. And so money is weird and not necessarily great. And so when people say, though, that they would punch someone in the face for $10 million or whatever, they don't really want the money. They want what the things that money can buy, right? They want, the security. They want the car or the house or whatever, any of that stuff. And so I turned it around to a different question. And it is, what situation would you need to be in order to never have money again? What would you be comfortable? Like, what would you be comfortable living in? What sort of state would you be comfortable being in where you would never have money and no one around you would have money? There would be no money at all. Because I think...
No money at all.
Like, if right now, boom, money disappeared, right? So far, my electricity is still on. I still have, the computer, the phone. I still have all that stuff. And for a while, I will still have all that stuff. Now, if all money is gone and you're never going to get money again, would I still go to work? Probably not, right? The place where I work is far away. I work remotely. The tools that I need in order to get there to do the work are eventually going to shut off. Eventually, at some point in time, probably whoever's job it is to put the electricity into my house will stop working, probably. But you don't know exactly, right? What we're saying, though, is the life that we're living now, this life that I have now, isn't really tenable in a non-money situation. So what would be? I think about a time when we just by nature don't have money. When we're a kid, right? You were 5 years old. You didn't have money, right? You had mom and dad. They took you everywhere. They bought you things, all that. So
With money.
with money. So that doesn't work for the analogy exactly, but think about it this way. And this is, again, we're using the same imagination that we use for the pie in the sky. If I had $1 million, this is what I would do. You can control time, space, and all that. I've come up with a couple of thoughts. So Smurf Village, right? You have everybody has a job. There's somebody that cooks the food, somebody that grows the food, somebody that takes out the trash. Everybody has a job, and they all work together to make this thing work. Like, would you, Ben Lawrence, if you were in a situation where everybody had a job, there was a mess hall that you all ate in, and everybody just sort of did work, and there was no money, everyone just sort of shared everything, a small village type thing, would that be workable for you?
For me personally,
Yeah.
like if tomorrow I was forced to go live on like a commune
Well, you
away
say
from the
force.
modern
See, right there makes me think that probably not. If you would wake up like if tomorrow morning you wake up and you're in a world where there's no money doesn't exist, what would that world have to look like for you to be comfortable?
Not the world we currently live in, that's for sure.
Right, exactly. That's my question. Is what would you like? Star Trek, for example, right?
Yeah.
The fact that the Ferengi are really, really obsessed with gold pressed latinum is sort of weird because you've got things that make, replicators make everything.
Yeah.
So in that case, a world with replicators, where you're in a sort of structured society, in this case, the Federation, on a starship or whatever. If we're going with Star Trek: The Next Generation as a model, would you be able to handle that? Would that be?
I would be able to handle that because everybody on this ship has been vetted. There's not going to be anybody who's trying to, like, everybody knows that they have a job and everybody knows that they're going to be doing a job, right? Yeah. So, like, I would want to be in the society where everybody knows that they have a job to do, because what happens? Yeah, the community has to be a community. There can't be any, because what happens when this falls apart is like this idealistic society where money doesn't exist, is when you have people or a group of people who decide not to participate, putting the burden on other people. And those other people are like, well, I should get more. I should have that guy's dinner because he didn't empty the trash compactors. I did. So I get twice the food. Well, that guy's got to eat, though. I mean, you don't want him to die, do you? Well, he didn't empty the trash compactors today.
Or even just, as you say, like there's a guy who has to empty the trash compactors, right? That's his job. Okay, so yeah, in your version, it would be a society. It would be a structured society, a sort of regimented. Everyone has a job. Everyone knows what their job is. Everybody is signed up. I am going to do my job, and we're going to make everything run smoothly.
Yeah,
and then you would be comfortable.
Because I'm always looking at the worst sides of people, and I'm always trying to imagine how this can go horribly wrong.
So an example for you of what would work, in my opinion, a real world example, it would be in Antarctica, right? There's an Antarctica station.
Yeah.
Everybody has a job. Everybody gets food, and they have entertainment, all that sort of thing. But that's what their day-to-day life is. They've got the work that they do. And it seems like it's sort of a peer pressure thing that makes you do all your work, basically.
But everybody is there on the same mission, Everybody's there in the name of science, So, and also it's temporary. I mean, people don't live there forever. They go home, and when they go home, they expect to be paid for their work, or at least, their research.
Yeah, but okay, so I guess that would be a thing, right? if
I could probably live in one of these cashless societies as long as I knew there was an end game and I got paid royally for it.
so you could live in a cashless society if at the end there's a bunch of money.
Yes.
Money doesn't exist until the end.
Until the end.
Lots of money.
Yeah.
Okay, so but let's expand that. If that's what you're saying that you need, because this is one of the examples I gave. Let's say you've got a mansion, and you've got acreage, and you've got robots that are solar powered, and the solar powered robots cook all your food, and they, grow your food, and they make sure that your house is clean. They do everything for you. So and there's no one else around for miles to take your stuff. What about that? Would that be something that you would be?
I don't know.
Or do you need friends? You need friends and people.
So, yeah, I was gonna say it sounds kind of boring. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, because this is the thing. For some people, being isolated. I think about this all the time with like the prepper thing and all that.
Yeah.
So many of those people, their ideal situation is them and their families, and a couple of their friends have survived, and everyone else is dead because they weren't smart enough to buy the 25 gallons of mashed potatoes or whatever.
Yeah, and build a bunker in their backyard.
Yeah, exactly. So that is not a good one for you. An end time scenario where sure there's money, but and this is really, I mean, if I'm going to be totally honest, Ben, this is what I was thinking about. Somebody's, would you kill and eat this baby pig for $500,000? What if you do that, and then as soon as you do that, all currency is devalued, and you've just killed and eaten this baby pig for nothing because there's no more. That's really what started this. I didn't think about it again until right now that's what spawned this idea. So okay, I think we've got it, because what I was trying to do then I was trying to pare down
Yeah,
until I got to the lowest level of living that I would be willing to do with money not existing, and I could do whatever. And I realized what it would be is a dorm situation. So I'm sleeping in a room with a whole bunch of other people, where I have my own bed, and I have a pair of I have clothing that is given to me like a uniform that I put on, and there's like a rec room or a storage room that has a lot of stuff. It has a lot of...
It's prison. You're talking about prison, aren't you?
Well, this is the thing, is I realized that what I was talking about was prison or a mental institution. And
then every once in a while, they let us go outside and exercise.
No. It's better than that. Everyone's free to kind of do whatever they want to do. It's like, okay, there is such a thing as a prison library, but it's like a library with a dormitory attached. And you get to study, you get to do whatever you want. There's food that gets served, and you don't really know where anything comes from. This is the idea: a shadowy organization that just gives you stuff. I realize it's not just prison; it's a scientific experiment. There are people that I don't know who are controlling things. I would be okay with that. For there being no money. But the thing, this was my big thing to find out about, is are people willing to cooperate with other people rather than have money?
Yeah.
Because that's what money is, Ben. It's cooperation fuel. I drive up to the gas station. There's a guy that controls the pumps as to whether or not they get gas. If I had no money and he wasn't getting paid, and we were there at the same time, and I'd be like, hey, come on, man. Let me put some gas in my car. That could still happen. I would maybe, between being a nice person and, whatever, I might be able to get him to do that. Right? Because he still knows how to operate everything. And he might even stick around. He might even stick around and start demanding things of people to fill gas up.
Yeah, but like
It's possible.
Yeah, so he's not getting paid, so why is he still there?
Because he knows how to do the filling up the gas thing, and he might go, I can do something that most people can't. I might be able to get something out of this.
So he's a willing participant in this society.
Well, yeah, but who knows, right? Maybe a bigger, stronger person comes up and says, "Hey, you're only going to fill up my gas from now on."
Right. Hey, it's a nice gas station you got here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
The idea, and you and I have talked about this before, anarchy is a starting point for new governments to start being formed lots of times if you don't have the right ideology. And that's the thing. I don't want to sound too bitter about the state of the world or anything, but if you had a group of people and everyone got a free cookie every day, right? And this cookie was nutritious. It's all you would need to eat. It's like a magic healthy cookie. And everyone got one. Eventually someone would try to take two, even though they only need one. And then
because if I have two cookies, I'm better than you.
Right, exactly. I'm better than you. Or, a guy with no cookies. Okay, I'll give you cookies if you wash my clothes for me. And then all of a sudden the person washes the clothes, and you this web of, and this is what economics is, I guess, really, the study of this kind of thing.
Paul and Ben solve economics.
So basically no money, and then then everyone's good, and it's all we gotta just okay. So we already sort of tread this ground for about a half hour. I haven't asked anything about interaction, Ben. Has there been any interaction?
No, none whatsoever.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We were off for a week, and so I guess there goes our viewership. We got nobody watching on the YouTube stream, and no emails, no calls, no texts. So we won.
It is fun, Ben, and I'm being sincere with you when I say this. I like the fact that we're going through all this, all these motions of it being a podcast and no one is watching. I love it on an aesthetic level. I think it's amazing.
It's a lot more freeing than if, say, we had thousands of people who listened or watched the show every week, listened to us, and had critiques for us. I'd be a lot more anxious doing the show that way.
Yeah, the best kind of podcast there is one where no one actually watches. And there are probably tons of podcasts I'm never going to see.
Yeah, in my life. Got a bunch of podcasts over there. But people wonder what a podcast is. I say, well, it's just people talking to you from the past. Well, what's the point of that? You say to yourself, oh, from the past, I can't talk back to them. Oh, maybe that's the point you got there. Maybe that's the point.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, let me listen to two guys talk about something that I'm not interested in.
And then you're like and then when you listen to them, you think to yourself, these guys are morons.
They're morons. Okay, so
these guys are morons.
Yeah.
Going from Norm Macdonald to George Carlin and back again.
It's good that you knew what I was doing there. I was talking to someone the other day about how this was actually the first impression that I ever did, but the one that I did was of him when he was a young comic, and therefore this guy, I don't know. I guess I could accuse someone of murder, and that's good. Did you see that, by the way? Okay, so here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Norm Macdonald died recently. At the time that you listen to this,
it It'll be last week when he died, but he died at the age of 61 of cancer, and he kept it private. Nobody knew. His closest friends didn't even know he'd been fighting cancer for 9 years.
Yeah, which is, as people say, a very Norm Macdonald thing to do. Okay, so 100% everything on the table. I really liked young Norm Macdonald back when he was much more Canadian, in my opinion. And then I kind of lost touch with him for a while. Like I didn't see him on as many things. I loved his Weekend Update stuff that didn't go well whenever that would happen. I thought that was good. But the stuff that he did that I thought was kind of amazing. One of the things that he did, and Ben, I urge you to look this up, was when he brought up the fact that Bill Clinton killed Vince Foster on The View, straight-faced, and it was hard for me to explain because I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination, Ben, but the fact that he brought it up on The View and everyone was trying to get him to be quiet was amazing to watch.
Knowing something about Norm Macdonald, and I'm not saying this because I knew him, but I've listened to a lot of like remembrances and of people who did know him, and if he brought up Bill Clinton or the Clintons having Vince Foster murdered or murdering him themselves, chances are a producer backstage told him, "I know you got a bit about Bill Clinton murdering Vince Foster. Do not say that on the show."
Why would I do that?
Yeah, you got my word, pal. I'm not gonna say that at all. Where's the door to the stage?
Yeah. So, it really is one of those things of when it was him, I was like, what? And we're getting older, Ben. It's going to happen more and more often that people because we know more celebrities now. We know more celebrities than a lot of younger people do. So, I mean, a lot of people knew. I'm not saying people wouldn't know Norm Macdonald. That is not what I'm saying. But there's going to be a time when it's like, oh, the guy who said succulent Chinese meal is dead. And we'll know about it, but some people won't.
Well, I mean, do you think that's a result of our generation consuming more traditional media as kids than the current generation?
That's in a roundabout way, even though the example I gave was the exact opposite thing. But yeah, I think that, when we were kids, it was easier to be a big famous person that everybody knew because the field wasn't flooded with so many other people.
Right.
Like being a comic on television at one point in time, like getting to do a bit on the Tonight Show was huge. Comedy Central didn't exist at the time. I talked about this too. I think you're with me on this one. Before IMDb, right? Guys like you and me who knew what the names of the people in the movies were,
and what other things they were in. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a skill. That was a talent that people needed.
Good party tricks. Yeah.
I mentioned this before about just recently about art, right? So there are people who just use other people's art for their role-playing game live streams, right? Okay. They're doing a role-playing game live stream, and they just search the internet for elf mage, and then there's an elf mage. And if I'm doing that, right, with my role-playing game group, we just play at my friend Tyler's house. So we're playing at my friend Tyler's house. I have a picture that I pulled off the internet. Now keep in mind, this is not something I would ever do because I like drawing, so I would draw a picture myself. But if I'm just a regular DM, I've pulled it up and I'm sharing it with my friends. That's, in my opinion, not that big of a deal.
Right.
But if I have a game that I am running on Zoom or on Twitch or whatever, and I'm using someone else's art in that game, and I can make any money off of this, then the artist should be compensated. And some people are like, yeah, you put it on the internet, so you shouldn't have put it on the internet if you didn't want people to use it, which is incorrect. The same thing of you put it on the internet, as long as I say your name and that you're the one who did it, that's fine. That is also not correct. Now, morally, right, I feel as though if I am being 100% honest, if we had universal basic income, I've mentioned this before, if we had universal basic income and universal health care, if you did not have to worry about food and health care, and you just made art, right? So, like, imagine this, Annex Theater, right? Everybody in Annex, yes, everybody in Annex can get food, they can get shelter,
now we're bringing shelter into this. All right, well, yeah, stakes are getting raised.
I guess maybe a dormitory underneath the theater. But the fact is that if we all had those things, then we could do amazing shows that we worked on and nothing else. We just did shows.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of great. In the same way, if I were an artist, I could draw a whole bunch of things and then, use one of my things in your game. Fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take food off my plate, whatever. But the fact is that, if you are doing a commercial venture and you're using someone's art, that person should be considered part of that commercial venture, in my opinion.
Yeah. If nothing else, you need to get their permission to use it.
But, in the same way, there are some people who do not agree. And I get it, right? Especially, here's the thing. If you're an artist and you disagree about your own art, I've got absolutely no problem with that. There are a couple of people who are like, copyright doesn't help me at all. It only helps, big people. You can use any of my art that you want. Any of the stuff that's on my website, go ahead and use it. I have a Creative Commons license. Go ahead and tag me in it. And when people say, well, don't you lose money? They say, no, because I make up all my money on commission. And what that means is that somebody sees their thing, they're like, oh, this is great. Would you consider drawing a picture of me making out with a wolf? And then the guy's like, yes, I'll do that for $500. And the people who really want a picture of them making out with a wolf say, okay, so all the stuff that got used for free is fine for this person because they made a $500 sale. I get that. That's totally cool. What I don't like and I don't get is someone else going, hey, I went to your website and I used your picture in my D&D campaign, and don't worry, I'm sure someday someone is going to pay you $500 to draw them kissing a wolf. Not the same thing.
A lot of people watch my live streams, and so the exposure you'll get is, the potential is huge.
The potential of, you just watch the live stream. All the people who really enjoy. God, how much different is that than my regular voice?
Your Norm Macdonald impression?
Hey, it's me, Paul Goody. I'm just calling here. Hey, Ben Lawrence, how's it going? Is it different enough from Norm Macdonald, close enough to me that this is just be how I talk? I don't know. I feel somewhat powerful. with this voice. I feel like, you know, it's very close actually to my Dewey Sounds voice. I didn't even think about it. Hello, it's me, Dewey Sounds, and I'm here.
Yeah,
Dewey Sounds was a late night talk show host that did I ever do Dewey Sounds for you?
you did Dewey Sounds as one of the takes for the panel jumper video we filmed, but I didn't use it.
Wait,
But that's
when did I do it?
when you and
Uh,
me and
just
Cole
recently?
recorded
Whoa,
this.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it
Did
was
I call myself Dewey Sounds?
Yeah, Dewey Sounds
I,
sounds around. He's the one who bought the Living Monsters plants.
my goodness, I completely forgot about that, Ben. So
So
wait,
that
which
was
one
a.
did
I used
which one did you use?
the sort of like the conspiracy theorist who he bought he bought these plants and they were like they swamp thinged into Cole and me.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, great. I
Which-
forgot that I did Dewey Sounds, Ben. That is incredible.
It was interesting that you brought Alan Moore up because the Panel Jumper episode that we showed a teaser for at the live show was all about Alan Moore's big numbers, and so when you brought up Alan Moore and Swamp Thing, it was just an interesting coincidence.
That does happen sometimes.
So,
It's kinda
but
cool.
Dewey Sounds was a real like late night talk show host. What are you saying?
I have been doing that character, Dewey Sounds, for it must be like at least 2 decades now.
Gotcha.
I would drive around and say, hey, it was sort of my take on what's his name? Coast to Coast.
Art Bell.
Art Bell. Hello, you're on the air with Dewey Sounds. Yeah, Dewey, got a question for you. Yeah, go ahead. I had a sawed-off shotgun. Yeah, go ahead. How do I eat it? Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now.
So it's sort of like
eat a shotgun.
It's sort of like Art Bell meets Phil Hendry.
Exactly. This was before Phil Hendry came into my purview. Also, and this wasn't for anything. This was just me driving in a car from
entertaining
Dorsey,
yourself
Illinois to Edwardsville. and I'm not recording it. I'm not doing. This is just me talking to myself.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it was all right.
That tracks. That's what I was trying to say. That tracks.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, and this is actually something that got brought up on D&D TikTok recently. Someone was like, how do you... There's sometimes when people ask questions and I forget that I'm me, if that makes sense. And they're like, how do you...
That tracks as well.
How do you make a non-player character, an NPC, that isn't anything like you? How do you decide what they'll do and what they won't do? And it's like, and I said, well, here's what you do. Pick 2 completely different characters that aren't you and have them talk to one another. And just do that all the time. And then eventually it's pretty easy.
I'm sure long commutes help as well when you're just in your car by yourself.
Exactly. And nothing, with a radio that doesn't pick up anything. That was one of the things. One of my cars, no radio whatsoever. So it's just, very, very wonderful. Also, look, it's Edward, the Chew Eagle. Hey, Edward.
Hey, Edward.
How's it going, buddy? Yeah, who's a good boy? It's you. His little heart's going crazy. So we have a trip in October to see Jennifer's brother get married. And we were going to take a plane, but we are no longer taking a plane. Now we're just taking the car. And
where's the wedding?
It is in Georgia. We were talking about there's like Gen Con and Dragon Con coming up, a bunch of comic book conventions and comic book / gaming conventions, and people in the TTRPG community are mad at the people going to these conventions, a lot of them, because they're like, hey, we're in the middle of a pandemic. just because this is stuff that you like doesn't mean that you're not, the difference between this and Sturgis is, negligible. And everyone's like, well, we got vaccinated and we're masking and all that and that's true, but it still doesn't. This is going to sound like a conspiracy or a friend of a friend told me this, whatever. This is a true story. This is not a lie. This is an actual true thing. And I know that this is a true story. This is not a lie. This is an actual true thing. It's something somebody like a liar would say, but I'm being serious. I have a cousin and my cousin's partner vaccinated, two doses vaccinated, wore masks, things like that. My elderly parents were going to go to be at a family reunion with them. The day of the family reunion, turns out that person has COVID. So they would have been there.
Yeah.
But luckily they were told in time.
Those breakthrough cases are happening. I know a couple people who were fully vaxxed and careful and still got it.
Yep.
But however, these breakthrough cases that they're getting are mild flu symptoms, right? They're not being hospitalized. Nobody's going on a ventilator. I mean, that does happen, but in very small numbers where a vaccinated person is hospitalized with COVID.
Yeah, someone did a breakdown of it about the difference between being vaccinated and being unvaccinated.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've seen a lot of those. Like 97.9% of hospitalizations are unvaccinated people. It is not insignificant. Zoom is doing that thing where I can hear the beginning of the whistle, but then it cuts out.
Oh, interesting.
Zoom doesn't like whistles, apparently.
Those who are going to listen to the podcast will get to hear all of the whistles from my audio stream.
So that's
going to be awesome.
Yeah, that is a thing where public things are happening, and even though COVID is just as bad now as it was back in, say, December, maybe even worse. And here in King County, they just mandated that all patrons of indoor locations, restaurants, bars, theaters, have to be vaccinated. Like previously, I think that was like a venue by venue decision as to whether or not you can, like, masks were mandated, but like vaccinations were optional. But now it's mandatory.
I bet you some people hate that.
I bet you lots of people hate. I have a family member who hates that. I had to hide them on Facebook recently because I was tired of seeing all the anti-mask mandate memes.
Yeah, that's too bad. I know that Betty and Jennifer got pizza. There's pizza upstairs.
You can smell it?
Uh-huh.
Is that your dinner? Are they gonna eat all of it in the next 11 minutes before you get a chance to go up there?
No. So Hobbit dinner times. Let's see. Breakfast. Second breakfast. Now, second breakfast is interesting. It wasn't necessarily listed as one of the meal times, but it is mentioned as a thing that happens. So breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies, luncheon, tea, dinner, supper. 7 different meal times.
How do you fit anything else into the day as a hobbit?
Really, what else is there to do, honestly?
Hobbit things?
Now, the thing is, though, I've gotten large enough, Ben, that my back hurts when I sleep. So, as you know, the pillow, the
square pillow?
The pillow cube, which I blamed on my back hurting. Maybe not the pillow cube. Maybe just I got overweight and had the pillow cube at the same time. Sorry, pillow cube. We'll see.
Sorry for putting all of the blame on you.
So what I'm doing is I'm still eating my regular Hobbit times, but I'm being healthier.
Wait a minute. So you just listed off the Hobbit meal times, but you're following that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't bring that up. Yeah. I've been following the Hobbit meal times.
Why?
Because it's nice and fun. Although I haven't in the past couple of days. Instead, I've just been eating candy.
7 times a day.
Well, because here's what was happening is I've been really busy, right?
Yeah.
And I had some candy next to my desk, and I haven't been going upstairs to eat like I normally do. So I've just been eating the candy that's there. And here's the thing. If you're just eating little bits of candy all throughout the day, you don't get hungry.
Well, I'm sure your dentist will appreciate
yeah,
when you go
that's
back.
the thing I don't like, the dentist problems. Oh, speaking about which, Ben, I am going to be getting some reading glasses pretty soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I knew it was going to happen, so I can still read. Here are wonderful, and you... Here are wonderful, love you as much as I do. Well, maybe not quite so much. She blushed. It's not that. I just worry that I won't understand. Reading the script that Jennifer has here, so I can read. It's when I'm close, when I'm holding a book close to myself, I can't read it as well.
That's why I have progressive lenses. I read like this. I'm my grandfather now. I read a book like this.
Yeah, but my far sight is very good. Excellent far sight. No reason.
I can see for miles.
I can see for miles and miles. And hey, Betty!
All right. What do we need? What are we going to talk to them about?
What do we want to talk to them about? Let's see. We'll find out.
If Betty even wants to come down.
Oh no, she's coming down. Ah, they're coming down. They're coming down.
It's coming down.
Betty doesn't care, but I still do.
I heard that part.
It should be an easy thing to remember. But yeah, we could talk about that if you want, or what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about not caring?
No, man. Oh shoot, we're doing earbuds today.
Ew,
hello.
Gross. Those were in your dad's ears.
Ew, dad ears.
What do you think of your dad clean shaven?
It'll be hard to get used to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they want me to grow a mustache out. So I can still use, if I have a mustache, I can still use the respirator.
Ah.
So we'll see.
Just the mustache. Yes. Alrighty. Cool. I got nothing else. You got anything you want to say to the people?
Don't drink Monster Energy. Drink other energy drinks instead.
All right. You heard it here first.
Know. They said that they don't care about politics, and that just, for a lot of people, that automatically means that they're conservative.
Wait, but you also can't drink Bang, right? That's another...
Yes. So don't
Bang?
drink Monster or Bang. Try something else. I've seen other energy drinks at the store.
There should be one called Big Gay Energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know where there are other types of energy drinks? Greener.
I have. I already have a kind I get from Schnucks and CVS.
What is it?
I forget the name. It starts with an A, but it's the one. It's the one with the really cute cans. Maybe.
Those. Yeah. We'll walk up to CVS and you can show them to me.
Yeah. Anyways, that is it. I will see you later.
All right. Good talking to you. Bye, Betty.
Bye. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, who would have thought that energy drinks aren't progressive?
Uh, I never got into the energy drink craze. Never was my thing.
I did. You remember?
Yeah.
Diet Rockstar, man. A Diet Rockstar and a barbecue pork sandwich or whatever.
Oh God.
The heck from it was not good.
Back
when I lived in Highland Park.
I'm just my energy drink is coffee. I take after my dad in that way. It's just black coffee for me.
Yeah, I don't do the energy stuff anymore. It has helped immensely.
Yeah.
It's so but the big thing I think is that if I lived by myself, I might start doing it again. Right? It's purely to get along with other people. Because I'm already handicapped when it comes to being nice to people. And I think I do a good job. But it is calculated. It does not come naturally. And when I have caffeine or any sort of stimulant in my system, the not caring about other people is amplified.
Oh, really? Caffeine turns you into a jerk?
It does. It really does. But not just caffeine, though. ADHD medication is really bad.
Yeah.
That is how my therapist figured out the fact that I'm autistic. My reaction to ADHD meds is just like their speed, basically. So they don't help. And so, I was like, this is helping. Everyone is stupid except for me. This is great. I love it. And when I related that to her, she's like, yeah, you know what? That's not how they're supposed to work.
Speaking of mustaches, Steven says that's why firefighters always have mustaches, because it conforms to the N95 mask requirement.
I'll have to look at a bunch of firefighter mustaches and decide which one I want to do. But I'm growing, so I'm growing my
just go for the full
facial hair out. Well, I was thinking about maybe a bandito kind of mustache. So we'll see. Here's the thing. I'm going to share this with you and Steven. When I was shaving the beard off, I was going to go for the Frank Zappa because I had enough hair I could do whatever. But the square chin part that he has, my chin does not support it. It doesn't work. So I eventually ended up shaving the entire thing off.
Did you start with clippers and then you finish off with a razor, or did you do the whole thing with a shaver?
So I have clippers, and that's what I use. It's what I normally use just regularly to shave and all that. But I have an electric, a smaller electric shaver that I use when I'm shaving my face smooth.
Yeah. I haven't had an electric razor since college.
You were laughing at something. I believe it was something that Steven wrote.
Steven says he's going to try for a Magnum PI, speaking of the Fulselic, and he's going to combine it with his Beaker haircut. It's about time, right?
Yeah, that's a kind of an amazing...
It's all about me.
Did you ever see the pictures of me when I had a Tom Selleck mustache?
Maybe. I've seen a lot of pictures of you.
Yeah, those were actually some good times having that mustache. I felt all right about it. I looked pretty goofy, but it was okay.
I try every once in a while for the facial hair thing. Sometimes I get to the point where like, yeah, maybe this is my new look now, but then I don't like having facial hair. I just don't. Yeah. I just physically don't like it.
I don't know, Ben. You and please take this in the way that it's intended. You look good as Ben. You have a very this is what you're getting. This is me. The glasses just incorporated into it without any problem whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, the glasses are a relatively new thing within the
Consistency
last
of your
11 years.
Yeah,
I do have a very consistent look. But I did have a mustache and a goatee when I hosted Spin the Bottle once, and Brett Love took a picture of it and a picture of me, and I really like that picture. I actually use it as like my profile picture for a lot of things. But because it's just this classy, like black and white picture. But in the same like run of that facial hair, there's another picture of me at the Panel Jumper Live, just like a backstage like posing picture, and it just looks dumb. My facial hair looks anemic.
Oh, no.
It doesn't. My facial hair doesn't grow in very thick, so it's all like spindly and wiry, and it's just like. You remember when we did the front page? I had a mustache for like over 2 months, and I still had to put mascara in it to make it darker and more visible from the stage.
I do remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Oh, hey, speaking about talking about that, hey, Ben.
Yeah,
looks
Paul,
like
what's
we're
going on there? Over there.
at
What do you got, though?
at the end of the show again. Always.
The end of the show. It always sneaks up on you.
Yeah, it's just no, thank you. All right, well then, I guess gonna ask you to keep it wrong there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to keep it wrong over there too, and now you don't know how to feel.